Why does the glass ceiling exist? Why does society not accept women at high positions? Why are women scientists not perceived? Interesting questions, right? What do you think the oppression of women means? That the case when the achievements and values of women are neglected, devalued, or diminished by the patriarchal system of society. This can be both jokes about the abasement of women without men, or even the refusal to advance in their careers. So raise your hand if you've been a victim or a witness to the oppression of women, please. That I was ready to see. Because according to research in 14 countries, even the opportunity to get a master's degree is 20% for men and only 8% for women, more than 2 times fewer. University teachers argue that female students will not graduate because they get married or something like that. According to the STM Gap research, women make up less than 28% of STM's workforce. We live in a world of equality and global development, but women are a little bit more than a quarter of driving force, science. Are you sure that humanity will achieve sufficient success at the right time? Of course, someone can say that gender inequality is decreasing every year, but according to the Global Gender Gap Report 2018, the reducing of gender inequality is too slow to disappear over our lifetimes. Why do girls at schools have to hear a phrase, "Can boys make an electric cycle for now?" and girls, "Can you bring notebooks, please," during STM lessons? That's what I had, and I think it all comes from school. The idea that boys will achieve more in physics and mathematics goes back to elementary school. According to statistics in the USA elementary schools, girls become less confident in their mathematical abilities during first 2 years of studying, while boys are confident that they have an knack for it. Perhaps today's youth is more conducive to gender equality, not the older generation, but the older generation that teaches young people in schools and universities. By the way, there is an interesting pattern. There are more women teachers in schools and more male professors in colleges and universities. The stereotype that women's main goal is to raise children is reflected here as well. Women are less likely to get a degree afterwards. You only need to know this, it's enough for you. Many people probably know that less than 100 years ago, it was common for men to appropriate or depreciate the achievements and discoveries of their female colleagues. And many are also convinced that this is not the case now. If anyone doesn't believe it's still common, here's a recent story. In 2018, a scandal broke out at Tokyo Medical University. It was about the underestimating the grades of female students at entrance exams. Since 2010, the number of girls who have decided to enter a Japanese medical school has increased, and the management of this university has tried to reduce the number of female students. In 2018, 4 times fewer girls than boys were accepted to the university. The management of this institution in this way has tried to increase the number of young students. According to them, that's boys who would then work in their specialty, and girls would leave their careers because they will get married and have children. One university teacher, Tim Gant, who was nominated for the Nobel Prize, once said in a news conference, "Let me share with you my problems with the girls. When they're in a lab, 3 things happen. You fall in love with them, they fall in love with you, and when you criticize them, they cry." As you can see, prejudice about women's intelligence and ability to make remarkable discoveries is not limited to the uneducated. Can you call such people smart? I can't. And our moms were right. You should choose men not by words, but by actions. For example, in 1940s, women, the programmers of the world's first ENIAC computer, several scientists who have made the significant contributions to the project, usually are not mentioned in the story of ENIAC. And sometimes it's more focused on the advances of hardware rather than software. Do you know why? Because hardware, unlike software, was created by man. In science, it's called the Matilda effect. That's the sexist prejudice against the recognition of female scientists whose works are often credited with the authorship of their male colleagues. You may ask why a 16-year-old girl is interested in that, and I will answer. I am passionate about STEM, and I'm going to build my own career in this field. And I don't want to fall victim to something like that. I don't want another girl to hear the phrase, a chicken is not a rooster and a girl is not a physicist, which will almost kill her dreams. After this phrase, I realized that something needed to change. And luckily, more and more people think so. For example, in our country, in Ukraine, there is an organization, STM Girls. Their main task is sharing this idea and making people to think about the solution to this problem. Also, there are youth centers such as Open Lab in Lviv and Quadrat in Vinnytsia. These are places for youth development, including in STM. In addition, there are a lot of internationally proven associations. These are Girlstad and STM for Her, which help conduct research. Finally, there is National Center for Women and Information Technology, which covers the entire field. Also, there is Go Develop It, that conduct competitions and hackathons for funding projects. Funny that Women Who Code and Girls Who Code were founded. Was it such a popular joke about females in programming that they needed to appear? Was it a possible solution to this problem? In my opinion, first of all, you need to break the illusion this no longer exists. To break the illusion of not only women, no, they mostly feel it even without this speech. It's necessary to break the illusion mainly for men. Most of them believe that it doesn't connect it with them, and it will not have an impact on their future. But are they sure? As I was very influenced by it, I decided to become a member of one of these organizations, and I became a volunteer in STM Girls. Our activity is more focused on work with students of schools and other educational institutions. We help with research, conduct training sessions, and sometimes competitions. Not ignoring the problem in schools can be one of possible solutions to this problem. With the right work, we can reduce the number of opponents of the idea in the future. It can be provided by educators, and therefore work is one of our tasks. And as ironic as it is out, this mainly the opponents of the idea of equality who can improve the situation. Because thanks to them, this problem exists, and if only women fight for the idea of equality, it will be the battle of only one side. If more people will know about this problem, then not everyone, of course, but the largest percentage will think, is it right? If it isn't, how can I change it? Because the biggest enemy is not the gender inequality, but the ignorance of the people. Then, the ideal world exists in almost all legislative documents. But how many times these laws been worked? So, girls, don't be afraid to use your rights. It seems like everyone knows about these problems, but you do. If you've never been involved in such activities but want to support it, there are many places where you will be welcomed. You can just support these organizations on the internet, or you can participate in their activities. If you don't want to do this, become a real example of a person with a modern opinion. Don't close your eyes if it concerns you directly, and don't avoid it if you witness it. A person who has done the oppression is less likely to do so again if he or she has been publicly noticed or convicted. So don't be silent. Your silence can be someone's trouble. The sooner everyone understands this, the more opportunities women will have for doing something new. Don't you feel sorry for those possible ideas that could change the whole world in the Middle Ages and other epochs, but were never voiced because of the ignorance of the people of that time? Sure, that's cool, so during the last 40 years it was the boom in the increase of number of women in STEM. But remember that now we're stuck at around 28% quantity. I think we need to prevent it in the future. Thanks.